Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So, we got to talk about the Pacers, and, well, it's just not good. I mean, I don't know what else to say at this point. The defense is horrendous. Defending the three-point shot is horrendous. The Pacers lost to the Raptors last night, 122 to 111. Tyrese Halliburton had 30 points and 6 assists, but that wasn't enough to get a win. Then, they played the Memphis Grizzlies on December 1st, which was 3 days ago, and they lost that game 136 to 121. I believe they are 2-10 on the road, which is just simply not good. They are not a good basketball team in general, but yeah, they're 2-10 on the road. Regardless of individual play, I just want to say a couple things. Tyrese Halliburton, after their loss to the Raptors last night, came out and said that the product that the Pacers are putting on the floor is not good. It is, I forget his exact words. Give me a second, but Tyrese Halliburton, after the loss, basically said that it's how they've been playing is essentially embarrassing. Tyrese, the article itself was released on the Score app. This was in the post-game press conference, actually. He said basically there needs to be a reality check right now, individually and collectively. Guys need to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, what can they do better? And it starts with me. I have to be a better leader. No, you just have to be a better defender. And last night was the first really good road game he's had. I don't remember if the Knicks game was at home or away, where he had 30 something points and when he went off against the Knicks. I don't remember if that was at home or away, but here's the thing. Halliburton has not been good, but neither has the rest of the team. I understand that there's a bunch of injuries going on right now. I get that. Right? I understand that, and there's a lot of people using that as an excuse, and I hate to say it, but that's not an excuse. I understand we got Johnny Furphy playing minutes, Quentin Jackson's playing minutes, we got a lot of guys on our team getting more burn than they normally would. We're running Obi Toppin at weird positions. Moses Brown is just slowly being thrust into the mix. He's kind of getting thrown to the wolves a little bit. So I understand there is an adaptation period there to you're playing with some new guys. Jarris Walker's getting more minutes, right? I guess that's the one positive way to look at this is all your young guys are getting some valuable minutes. Mathurin has, I don't know if Mathurin's taken the jump that I expected him to take, but he's definitely getting there. You know what I'm saying? Mathurin's a guy that, has become sadly the best rebounder on the team, and he plays a guard position. Andrew Nembhard just came back, which is a plus, but the thing is, man, this team just all around is not good on the defensive end of the floor. Never mind just any specific thing. They don't defend the three-point shot well. They don't rebound well. They don't switch well on defense. There at some point a coaching change has to be made, and I hate to say this because I like Rick Carlisle, I do. I don't think you have one of the greatest offenses in NBA history without having some type of genius there. The problem is teams have figured out the Pacers that if you can stop Tyrese Halliburton from fucking murdering you, you can pretty much beat them. And even in the two games against Memphis and against Toronto, they're picking Tyrese up full court. I don't know if you guys have realized that or not, but the first game against the Grizzlies, it was Deni Avdija. And then in the second game, it was Ochai Agbaji one time, and then they're switching. Teams are now playing Tyrese Halliburton full court. And unfortunately, this also looks like a team that is just not as in sync as it was last year. It feels like a lot of guys are playing for themselves rather than for the team. We call it, or as Antonio Pierce would call it, making business decisions. But the thing is, I don't know what it is. I don't even know how to describe it, but this team does not look like a team. This looks like a team that some nights comes out and plays amazing, and some nights comes out and plays like crap. But the problem is there's no consistency to it. Right? There are games they come out and slaughter guys, right? I think against Memphis, didn't they have a 48-point quarter, and then last night they scored 48 points in 2 quarters alone. Like, there is no consistency to this team, and that is a major problem. I mean, yeah, the Indiana Pacers had 45 points in the first quarter against the Grizzlies the other night and still lost because they have, like, the second and third quarters, they just fell apart. This team has really high highs but really low lows at the same time, and even in games where they're winning, it gets down to the fourth quarter, the last 6 minutes, 5 minutes of that quarter, and they just melt down. It seems like they just have an absolute meltdown on defense, and they just can't do anything. Last night against the Toronto Raptors, I kid you not, I think it was the second or third quarter, they had a 5-minute stretch where they didn't score a single basket. Now, granted, that was kind of both teams up to a certain extent, but then after like the 3-minute mark, it became just the Pacers haven't scored a basket in 5 minutes. You cannot have that, okay? And I understand like the team has a lot of issues as far as size, as far as, having good defense and stuff like that. But this is what you're paying 2 guys upwards of $45 million a year for. If you go, there is zero reason with Siakam and Halliburton on the roster that you should go 5 minutes straight without scoring a basket. And this has happened before. This has happened multiple times already over this season. And that's a serious problem. I understand fans want to be confident in this team. I do. And I understand that, we want the team to perform well. People want to see this team in the playoffs. They would like to see us make a run at a championship. And I've been saying it for a while, like this year's the year. You got a lot of teams in the East that look discombobulated. Even some teams in the West, like the Pelicans, are injury riddled. The 76ers don't look like themselves. Yeah, they beat Charlotte last night, but they beat Charlotte without LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges, while they had Paul George and Tyrese Maxey. The Bucks look like they're starting to figure it out. But outside of Boston, and even, I don't even know how great Cleveland's going to be in the playoffs. Like, yeah, in the regular season, they're good, but they haven't played a lot of teams that really, like, blow you off the fucking page. You know what I'm saying? They've played a lot of teams that I think are middle of the pack or simply not very good. They lost 2 games straight to the Hawks. But the East is wide open, I think, from 3 to 8. And the Pacers are a team that it's just, if they could just get their shit together, would be a good team. But it doesn't seem like they can. It seems like there's maybe something going on in the locker room. We know that Tyrese Halliburton is playing through injuries. The back thing has, I think, always been a thing. Even last year, the back stuff was a thing because he'd be sitting on the bench with like a heating pad on or a back brace or something like that, right? This is something that goes as far back as last year. But it's just the idea. TJ McConnell's probably the most consistent player we have on this team, and that's a problem, all right? Like, it's a problem when your bench point guard is probably the most consistent player you have, him and Pascal Siakam. Even Siakam, it's like he's had a couple games this year that haven't been great, but he's still been solid. The major inconsistencies you have mostly coming from Tyrese Halliburton, because Tyrese Halliburton seems like he has games where, like, he plays great, and then he has other games where you watch him and you're like, dude, this guy was an all-NBA point guard. So they really need to figure that out. They need to learn to play defense. I hate to say it, but I have a feeling like if we're not a 500 basketball team by the time the All-Star break gets here, Rick Carlisle could be looking for another job. And honestly, even if Rick Carlisle's not gone, I would like to just see some changes to that coaching staff. They need to get somebody. I don't care who that somebody is, but they need to get somebody to emphasize defense and teach it or go over it in practice, because it doesn't seem like they're doing that. Like, I'm sorry, I don't think a team is this bad at defense if you're practicing it in practice or preaching it in practice. I told somebody, I was telling the Discord this last night, I was like, yo, Scotty Barnes went into last night's game shooting 27% from 3. This man shot 42%. He took 7 3-pointers and made 3 of them. Okay? Man shot 42% from 3. RJ Barrett is another guy that it's just like, I understand RJ Barrett's been on a little bit of a hot streak. I mean, against Miami, he had 37 points. But it's just the idea last night, against us. Not only did Scotty Barnes have a ridiculous game, but RJ Barrett had 29 points. We got killed by basically 3 guys last night. Jakob Poeltl had a double-double, 17 and 10. Scotty Barnes had 35 points, 6 rebounds, and 9 assists. And RJ Barrett had 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 5. You almost had 2 guys get triple-doubles on you. I mean, like, you can't have that. The rest of that team didn't really show up. Ochai Agbaji had 13 points, but 4 guys. 4 guys absolutely killed us. Halliburton had 30, Miles had 16, Mathurin had 17, Siakam had 13, McConnell had 14, Toppin had 15, and we still lost. At that point, it's not a scoring issue. At that point, it's a defensive issue. When you have 5 or 6 guys in double figures and you still lose, it's a defensive issue. Now, I don't really know what the answer to this problem is, but they need to figure it out. Because it's just, honestly, if the Pacers could play defense as a top 15 team or a top 20 team, they're not even top 20. And if they could figure out rebounding, which I don't think is going to happen. Most team, like, for whatever reason, this team has never emphasized rebounding. Right now, they are 26th out of 30 teams in defensive rating, 14th out of 30 teams in offensive rating, which isn't the end of the world. But their net rating is negative 4.5, which is 24th out of 30 teams. Okay, that is simply not good. When it comes to opponents' 3-point percentage, they're 19th. There are too many times that I watch this team play and they just simply get lost in translation. Like, for whatever reason, there's guys open all the time on 3-point line against the Pacers. They are giving up the highest percentage, like field goal percentage on twos in the entire league for the most part, at 57, almost 58%. They are 29th out of 30 teams in 2-point percentage. That is why you see guys like Scotty Barnes and Giannis and Kat and all these guys just going off against us because we don't play any defense in the paint. We just don't. It's very, very rare. Like Miles Turner, as much as I don't like him, as far as a player, as far as a guy that can stop people in the paint, Miles had a good block last night, which bounced off the rim and ended up being resetting the shot clock or whatever. But when you look at teams that have like a Rudy Gobert, right, or a Giannis or something like that, those teams don't give up, 58% on 2-pointers to other teams. They just don't. Even with Drew Holiday being gone. And if they could just stop that, if you could just get better in that and just stop letting guys have whatever they want in the paint, because that's the problem. You can't be 19th out of 30 teams in 3-point percentage and then be almost dead last in what you allow inside the paint and just expect to be a good team. You just can't. You're 26 out of 30 teams in defense at the current point in time. We're at the quarter point. We're a quarter of the way through the season. I know people are like, oh, well, we got to wait for these guys to come back, and we got to wait. That's not going to change. Okay? Our defense sucked last year with those guys playing, and guess what? Nothing's changed. This is the thing I keep telling people. I keep hearing the injury conversation, the injury. Oh, we're injured. Oh, we're injured. Oh, we're injured. That's not an excuse. It's not. This defense sucked last year, and it sucks this year. Okay? Oh, Aaron Nesmith is the difference between being, fucking 23rd and 26th? Come on. This is what we're arguing right now? This is, our defense is only, bottom 25th in the league. I mean, come on, man. That can't be the mentality we have. It's just, I think if you're a fan of this team, right, you can criticize the players all you want, right? You can say Halliburton's the problem. You can say injuries are the problem, this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of the day, if your whole team sucks at defense and you don't rebound and you don't defend the three well and you don't switch on screens well and you don't communicate well, that's coaching, dog. I don't know. That's coaching. Okay? When everybody on your team, even rookies, come in and they don't understand how to play defense, you're not coaching. I hate to blame Rick for shit, but this is coaching. Mathurin at least is giving effort on defense this year. Defense is like 90% effort and like 10% actual skill. Okay? They're just not giving any fucking effort on defense, or they're lost and don't understand how to switch on screens, or are not paying attention. Like, this looks, I'm not even kidding, I have seen pickup basketball defense that looks better than the product that the Pacers are putting out on the floor on defense. I'm not worried about offense. If they played defense, Tyrese Halliburton's woes wouldn't be so bad. Okay? Yeah, you could. The problem is this team lives and dies based on what Tyrese Halliburton can put on the floor night in and night out. And that should not be the case. Okay? Your star player should be able to come out and not have a great game and still have your team still has a chance to win. Last night he put up 30 and 6 and we still lost. Not good. Just letting you know, it's not good. Okay? At least with the Hornets, right? Or any of these other teams, Detroit, Houston, Orlando, okay? Orlando can win games without Paolo Banchero there. You know why? They play defense. And granted, they have Franz Wagner, who's been playing very well, but it's just the idea. We have Siakam. We have two guys on our team making $45+ million a year, and we can't win a fucking game when one of them doesn't play. That is a problem. We can't beat the bad teams. Toronto is 6-15. Toronto is a 6-15 basketball team. Tonight, we play the Brooklyn Nets, which is a game I won't even get to watch because it's aired in New York. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to send me a link in the Discord. But we play Brooklyn tonight. Brooklyn is a team that is actively trying to play worse. Everybody on their team is up for trade. Nick Claxton, Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, you name it, they're shipping it. You know why? Because they want Cooper Flagg. To them, this season's a wash. Okay? But if you can't beat Brooklyn, a team that is actively trying to lose, I don't know what happens. I know what happens, but I'm just going to say Rick Carlisle better start job searching. That's all I'm saying. If you can't beat the Nets, gonna have to start job searching, dog. I don't know what to tell you. Like, everybody's blaming Kevin Pritchard for this. Also, like, I just want to this is not a Kevin Pritchard problem. Okay? I want everybody to stop this bullshit with Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan. Okay? Because they don't control how the team plays. They just give Rick Carlisle the players. That's all they do. That's all they control. They can't go, like, I've never understood this, right? Kevin Pritchard can't make Tyrese Halliburton play defense. He's not the coach. He can talk to him about it, pound it into his head, say, I'll trade you if you don't do it. But at the same time, Tyrese Halliburton's making too much money to trade for him and get something equally of value for him. Same thing with Siakam. Siakam's getting paid too much money to get really anything of equal value for him. Even though Pascal Siakam's a guy you could probably trade and get something decent back for, but that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk trading them because you don't want to trade those two guys. I don't care what you think of either of them. But I see a lot of people who are like, oh, well, we need to get rid of Kevin. We need to get rid of the front office. We need to get rid of this. No, you just need a fucking coach that's going to teach defense. That's what you need. You need a coach that's going to teach defense and players that are going to adhere to that. And somebody said this. I don't know if it was in Discord or if it was in the True Indiana Pacers fans group on Facebook, but somebody said, I wonder if the Pacers have formed an environment where it's just fun to play here, and that's a problem. And I kind of have to agree a little bit with that statement. I don't think it's entirely true because I think it's great. I think it's great for not only your team, but like the league, right? That like your team is known for being a fun team to play for, right? Because that makes other players want to come play there. I think that's a positive thing. However, okay, there does have to be some type of seriousness to winning games and playing defense and being disciplined. And I feel like that's the problem with this team. I feel like this team is not disciplined at all. And that comes from coaching. I understand Rick Carlisle and the front office love Tyrese Halliburton. But the thing is, do they love him too much? Is there no tough love being administered there? I want player accountability. I don't want this, act good, feel good vibe in the locker room if we're losing games. Guys should not be celebrating if we have a losing record. Guys should not be happy because we scored 30 points and lost. That's one thing I can say about Halliburton is, right, like, even though he put up 30 and 6 last night and finally had a good road game, he was not happy because we lost. And that I'm like, okay, like, at least I know he wants to win, right? And so there's some guys on our team where I don't know if that's the case. Like, I'm not going to call no names, but there's some guys on our team that I'm like, this guy does not want to win a champ. This guy is here to make money. He's here because he enjoys, I don't know, being a fan favorite or just enjoys, playing professional basketball and getting paid for it, right? There are players on this team that I truly do not believe want to win an NBA championship. I think they're just here for the ride, and they're having a good time playing there, and that's it. And those are players that I do not want on this team. I'm gonna say that now. I don't care who they are, okay? But I feel like there's a lot of guys on this team that are here just because they enjoy playing here. And it's not just one guy either. It's a couple guys. So I want some discipline, and that's really what it is, to be honest with you. Like, if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty to what it is in general, it's discipline. Like, if you are not disciplining play, like, I'm a guys, I'd start holding guys minutes. I know that's hard to do right now. Like, your record fucking sucks anyway. But, like, if Obi Toppin's gonna suck at defense, if I'm Rick Carlisle, I'm like, yo, Obi, sit on the bench, dog. You can check back in the game when you decide you want to play defense. When you decide you want to, like, just not let your guy walk right by you and score a fucking basket, yeah, we'll let you play again. But you got to show it to me in practice. Until then, Jarris Walker's gonna get those minutes. And even Jarris Walker has not played well offensively this year. But you know what? He shows up on defense. He at least tries on defense. And it's kind of mind-blowing to me how, like, a second-year player can come in and be like, yeah, I'm going to play lockdown fucking defense. And, and some of these other guys can't get around that. Right? Like, I know Ben Shepherd isn't the greatest defender in the world, but he tries. Ben Mathurin, not the greatest defender in the world, but he tries. A lot of the other guys on this team, they're just there for the ride. Even Siakam's a guy I'm like, Like, I don't, like, Siakam tries on defense, and I like that. There's certain guys that you can say, like, Halliburton, there are times where I feel like he takes plays off. Like, that's the problem. There are a lot of guys that I feel like they just take plays off on defense, or they have their fucking head up their ass and are not, they have no awareness to what's going on around them. And, I just feel like that's, and what kills me these are things that I think could be ironed out in a very short amount of time if you just pressed it as an issue. And I feel like Rick Carlisle's not doing that. So, I hate to say that I think Rick Carlisle is the problem, but I feel like part of it is culture. I feel like for whatever reason, we've done this whole fast break, don't rebound, just get out and run offense for a long time now, since Nate McMillan was our head coach, I think, and it's clearly not working. That's my problem with it. Insanity's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And yeah, last year was great. Last year we had to have a lot of things go our way, though. And I feel like going forward, if this team is to get into the conversation that we want them to be back in, okay, we need to emphasize defense. We need to emphasize rebounding. And that's the thing as well. I understand we run this fast-paced, up-tempo offense, but you can't do that if you don't get rebounds. Like, that's the thing that people are, like, your team cannot get out and run if you don't get rebounds, if you don't get defensive rebounds. You absolutely have to get rebounds if you want to be a fast break team. So, and if you're not doing that, then you're forced to run this half-court offense that teams are now pressing Tyrese Halliburton full court, and suddenly that historic offense you had last year don't work no more, dog. So, tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. I'm the Fast Break Report. I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.